The Jacksonville Cemetery, a quiet, wooded place where deer roam, is the final resting place of over 4,000 citizens of the Rogue Valley and continues to serve Jacksonville today. In 1859, J&T Miller, an early landowner, set aside the original cemetery acreage, which was part of his government land grant. The cemetery was officially dedicated in 1860. Many of the names of the pioneers buried here are familiar today as the names of streets and communities. Others are recognized as names on historic homes and businesses. Still others leave a legacy of artistic accomplishment. Among some of the notable citizens buried here are Peter Britt, the Beekman family, Regina Dorland Robinson, David Lynn, Margaret Love, the Javalts, and the Ish family. Margaret Love is noted to be the first person buried in the cemetery in 1859. Her son was a prominent businessman, and the city allowed her burial, even though the cemetery had not been officially opened. Mrs. Love and her son traveled to Jacksonville on the Oregon Trail the same year as the Hoffmans. Mrs. Love's monument was shipped around Cape Horn from Italy. William Green Javalt was the editor for the first newspaper in Jacksonville, called the Table Rock Centennial. He also had mining operations near Gold Hill, Oregon. He was also an early Oregon politician, and he held several important offices. Javalt's wife, Rhonda Boone Burns, was related to Daniel Boone. Mr. Javalt died in the smallpox epidemic in 1869. David Lynn was an early carpenter in Jacksonville, and he helped build the Presbyterian Church in 1881. He married Anna Sophia Hoffman, and together they had 7 children. Unfortunately, Anna and 2 of their sons died after contracting tuberculosis from an infected cow. The elaborate headstones, an engraved entry stone, and wrought iron fencing makes the Ish family plot one of the most impressive in the cemetery. The Ish family sold their estate and slaves in Virginia to escape the Civil War. The Ish family purchased over 5,000 acres, including the land where the Rogue Valley Airport is located. Jacob Ish would become known as a livestock producer and a provisioner to the troops at Fort Connor. Peter Britt is one of the most well-known pioneers of the Rogue Valley. He was a photographer, painter, teacher, meteorologist, and horticulturist. Originally from Oberstdorf, Switzerland, he and 3 other Swiss travelers came to Jacksonville on the Oregon Trail. Mr. Britt took thousands of photographs of early southern Oregon, and he is even credited as the first person to photograph Crater Lake. The Britt Festival, held in Jacksonville every summer, is not only named after Peter Britt, but is even built upon the Britt family homestead. Dorland Robinson was born in Jacksonville in 1891, and she was the only daughter of wealthy parents. She exhibited a talent for painting and drawing at an early age, and at the age of 12, she took lessons from Peter Britt, who taught the budding artist how to paint with oils. Over the next 13 years, she studied art in Berkeley, Portland, Philadelphia, Oakland, and San Francisco, learning the use of watercolors, charcoal, pastels, and oils. She painted and sketched portraits of her friends and family, scenes of local life in Southern Oregon, and several self-portraits and a number of still lifes. Much of her work can be found at the Southern Oregon Historical Society. The Beekman family were quite possibly the most prominent family of the time. Mr. Beekman came to Southern Oregon in search for gold and eventually opened a bank which still stands today. He married Julia Hoffman, and together they have 3 children, Ben, Carrie, and Lydia. Ben was a prominent lawyer who practiced in Portland, Oregon, and was one of the best-known masons in Oregon. The Beekman house still stands, and the Southern Oregon Historic Society offers tours throughout the summer. The headstones of pioneer families from the 1850s, prominent merchants, and lesser-known laborers and victims of Indian attacks, foreign wars, epidemics, and mining and farming accidents all have stories to tell.